Good morning and welcome to AIDS 2012. This is actually the pre-conference, specifically for MSMs, men who have sex with men. You know, with a conference this large internationally, believe it or not, only less than 5% of the programming at AIDS 2012 is targeted to men who have sex with men or gay men, but not today. Today is the pre-conference and it's all about gay men. So welcome to AIDS 2012, Gay Day.
Washington, D.C. is a prime destination for those seeking change, advocating for their needs, and demanding action for a better world. We've used this iconic city to show our anger, display our grief, and ask for a better life. And right now, people have traveled here from around the globe for the International AIDS Conference. Forget Mr. Smith. I'm Mark S. King with My Fabulous Disease, and I'm blogging from AIDS 2012 in Washington, D.C.
This is the first time in more than 20 years that the International AIDS Conference has been in the United States. Why? Because since 1987, there has been a ban against travel into the United States against people with HIV. You can't really have an AIDS conference without people with AIDS. So it was terrific that U.S. Representative Barbara Lee was the first speaker. Her bill to end the travel ban was signed by George W. Bush in 2008. If you care about HIV, gay or straight, this is the most important person in Congress right now. She has just introduced legislation, the Ending of the HIV/AIDS Epidemic Act of 2012, that increases prevention funding, works to end stigma and discrimination, and ends insane laws that criminalize people with HIV. I asked Representative Lee about the sheer ambition of her bill.
I have faith in human beings, and I really believe that when you sit down with people and talk about human rights and civil rights and equality and justice, that they'll come around. And you have to have hope. You have to keep hope alive. I'm just very excited that we have introduced this legislation, and now I'm urging people to get their members of Congress to sign on as co-sponsors.
And that means you. Here is a website to identify your elected U.S. representative. Just enter your zip code and you'll get their phone number. Call their office and tell them you're a voter and you support Bill H.R. 6138 and that they should be a co-sponsor of it. Pause this video and do it now. I'll wait. We were then treated to the eloquent Honorable Michael Kirby, openly gay man and former Justice of the High Court of Australia. He related his efforts to have condoms available in Jamaican prisons nearly 20 years ago. The response? Prison guards walked out, and the macho, threatened prisoners rounded up 16 other prisoners suspected of being gay, put them in a cell with mattresses and gasoline, and burned them alive. The audience, myself included, wept at his story. Honorable Kirby's compassion is obvious, and he has also had a successful gay marriage for 43 years. So I had one question for him. So the simple question is, what's the secret?
That's a very simple secret.
Yes.
Give in. Give in. If ever there's a fight, give in. And keep your eye on the big picture, because the big picture is something that is very precious and beautiful. And people, through their pride or anger or feeling that they are in the right, and often they are in the right. I'm often in the right, but my partner, I always give in.
Next was a breakout session on the defining HIV issue of our time, the criminalization of people with HIV, primarily for not disclosing their status to sex partners, regardless of what sort of sex they had or even if no transmission occurred. Edwin Bernard of Berlin, global guru on this issue, had strong words for me about the United States, where the majority of prosecutions occur.
There is no justice in the US justice system. Just take the word justice out of it. People are just treated, particularly people with HIV, are treated by the criminal justice system in the United States as pieces of dirt, as just viral vectors of infection, people who have they have no rights because they have been picked out as having HIV. They are subclass, they are substandard, they do not deserve the same rights as other people.
At the same breakout session, Dr. Eric Mikolovsky, a social scientist from Toronto, gave a great presentation on criminalization and its impact on social stigma. He's also terribly cute, which seems kind of unfair. Afterwards, he and I engaged in some social research of our own when I turned on Grindr, the phone app that acts as a GPS gay man locator. We discovered a wide array of available gay men less than 20 feet away. Our research concluded that it's hard to identify a man's bare torso when he has a shirt on. I then had the very proud honor of introducing one of my video blogs on HIV criminalization, and it was a thrill to share the stage with my friend, Pause Magazine founder, and historic AIDS activist, Sean Strub. Ladies and gentlemen, my very proud mentor. You meet all the funnest people at Gay Day at AIDS 2012, and one of those people, for instance, is Alex Garner. Alex Garner is a big friend of our communities because, first of all, among many other reasons, you are the editor right now of Positive Frontiers.
That's correct.
Frontiers News Magazine in LA is like the big gay newspaper. They have a little AIDS baby and called it Positive Frontiers, right?
Right.
And you are the editor.
So we had our launch party in Los Angeles last month, and it was an opportunity for us to do an event that was ostensibly an HIV event. And we ended up having a bar full of about 80% HIV positive men, which was sort of remarkable.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so they're meeting for all sorts of reasons. They're meeting for social support. Maybe they'll find a date out of it.
Absolutely.
You know what I think I'm going to do? Let me pitch you this on this idea. I think that I'm going to do a Win a Date with Mark blog.
And do you care about their HIV status?
Oh my gosh, that's an interesting question. You know why that's interesting? Because I automatically assume they'll be positive.
Positive guys can reject negative guys, and negative guys can reject us. I think it's the intention behind it. If they're rejecting us because they have these sort of ignorant, fear-based reasons for rejecting us, then it's problematic. If they were making an informed decision and say, you know what, I want to be with other negative guys, I completely respect that because I make the exact same decision and say I want to be with positive guys. If you meet someone and you have a pleasant conversation with them and you like them as a person and you respect them and value them as a person, but you're not physically attracted to them, and they're physically attracted to you, rejection's going to occur.
So you get that a lot, don't you?
I do, all the time.
Do. You have to reject people because they're into you and you're not into them all the time?
No, I think that this is the thing, is that when you have a relationship with someone like that as social, and we maneuver that rejection and we come out of it unscathed.
Do you find yourself looking around the conference at husband material? I mean, isn't this a good place?
And they live in a different country.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of perfect?
Absolutely, that's my point.
Okay, Positive Frontiers. What's the website?
It's positivefrontiers.com, and the thrust of it's lifestyle, culture, and wellness.
What do you mean by culture?
Culture and the culture of HIV can really have a profound impact on our experience. We had it, maybe 20 years ago, like the Normal Heart, which I'm seeing tonight. Right. We had plays and we had sort of discourse culturally around HIV. We don't have very much of that anymore, and I think that we're lacking that, and people want to be able to be engaged beyond a clinical dialogue, and they want to be able to have a cultural dialogue and say, you can be funny, HIV is hysterical, and you want to be able to laugh about it and joke about it.
You'll be having laughs at the Normal Heart tonight, I know. I know. Maybe during intermission.
Maybe.
Yeah, while you're cruising, looking for someone who lives in another city,
so
who's HIV positive.
Exactly.
I ended Gay Day in a very gay way at the Pause Social at Cobalt, where I met Ken from DC, who was philosophical about his 30 years with HIV. This is not the world I want to leave for our children, he said. There's still work to be done. Coming this week, Hillary, Whoopi, the Global Village, and tons of surprises. I hope you'll join me. And please, be well.